Ladies and gentlemen, Binnall of America!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Tim Binnall.
No commercials, no subscriptions, no network, no rules. And at the end of the day, my friends, no comparison. Welcome to another edition of BOA The Revival. We're going to have a fun one for you tonight, I'm sure, my friends. We're going to have a lot of laughs as we've got our good friend Jason Offutt back here on the show to talk about his new book, Chasing North American Monsters, a guide to over 250 creatures from Greenland to Guatemala. And this is a sequel to his book that came out a little while back, which was just Chasing American Monsters. I actually have it over on the bookshelf behind me somewhere, and I loved that book. And I remember us talking about it when Jason was working on this one, that it was on the verge of, it was in the process of being created. And so when I was looking over who we should get on here, as we're kind of in the holiday season now, let's be honest, I was like, let's bring back some old friends. And I'm like, oh shit, Jason's book came out like back in September. We haven't even got him on the show. We fucking talked about it like 2 or 3 times when he was on the show leading up to this. So let's get Jason on Binnall of America. Let's talk about the new book. Let's just catch up, see what he's been up to, and get back in touch with our old friend Jason Offutt. So welcome to the show, brother. Welcome back to the show.
Man, it's been too long, Tim. Been much too long. Good to see you.
It certainly has. It certainly has. As I said, I saw the new book had come out, and I'm like, what's funny is one of the reasons. I mean, obviously you were promoting the book, but a big booster of the book is Lauren Coleman, who wrote the intro to the book. I would see Lauren posted a lot about the book all the time. How did Lauren's participation in all this come about?
Well, when I did wrote my first cryptozoological book, Chasing American Monsters, he contacted me when it came out, and and complimented me on it. So whenever this one, I signed the contract on this, I'm like, man, I wonder if Lauren would be willing to write the foreword. So I just asked him, and he said yes. He was always the guy whenever paranormal radio first started. He was the crypto guy.
Yeah,
and I always listened to Lauren. I loved him on all the Art Bell and all these other shows. And then he contacted me, and then when he agreed, he so graciously agreed to write the forward with some new information that he'd come up with. I'm like, this is perfect. This is beautiful. Lauren's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the man. He's the man. And I salute you for having him write the forward. To me, it's a no-brainer, right? But I've had friends who've written Bigfoot books, and I'm like, hey, you should get Lauren. And they're always kind of like, I want to stand on my own. And everybody gets Lauren to write the intro and everything. That reminded me of my friends who have podcasts didn't want to get Stan Friedman on because they're like, oh, Stan's on all the shows. It's like when you have access to a legend and they want to help you out and they want to give you the rub, like you work with the legends, man. That you put them over and they put you over, man. That's how it works.
It's foolish to say no to that.
Right. Yeah, he's the man. I mean, I have the world of respect for Lauren. I think he's just he's kind of like a mentor to me. So if I ever get around to writing a book, I'll probably hit him up for the introduction.
Why not? And I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there since we're talking about forwards and crypto books.
Mm-hmm.
My next one is coming out next September.
Okay.
Chasing the World's Monsters.
Wow. All right.
And since I'm chasing the World's Monsters, Adam Davies.
Oh, nice.
Wrote the forward to my next book.
Long time Binnall America friend, yes.
Yeah, such a cool guy. I'm just so delighted he agreed. And then we've talked a few times, and he's just a delightful man.
Nice. So you're keeping it all in the family here, all in the Binnall family.
Absolutely.
I like it. Now, have you because when I saw the title and I got into the book, I was like, wait a minute, Jason, wait a minute. So you must have heard this before. So it's chasing North American monsters, but you include these Latin American countries. You throw some Caribbean in there. Have you gotten sort of some pushback from the geography sticklers who are like, that's not North America, that's Latin America or something like that? What's your thinking there?
Technically, Greenland, Mexico, all the way down to Panama, including the Caribbean. Technically, that is North America.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Calling it, Central America, that is just divvying up part of a region of North America. So yeah, I haven't gotten any
That's
problem
true.
with people at all.
All right, that's true. Well, you've sold me on that now. I'm a believer. Okay,
that's good to hear, because it's kind of hard to get you to fall in line sometimes. I remember back 25 years ago, maybe, I don't know. I mentioned something about the millennium not being until 2001, as opposed to 2000. And I remember you're like, no, wait a second, that's not right.
Is that me? I don't know.
Well, that was you, because I remember you brought it up on a show. You were talking with Nick Redfern.
Ah, all right.
You guys mentioned the millennium, and he goes, "Yeah, have you ever heard of Jason Offutt? He thinks it's this," and I'm thinking it's bullshit. No, it's
No, boy. Well,
I've been a long time listener of your show, Tim. You know that.
there you go. Well, we wizened in our older years. You and I both.
Yeah.
So how do you? All right, this is such a cheesy way to start, but I'll just kind of kick it off because it's the easiest way for me to go. As I said before we started the show, my ass is still freshly kicked from that Bigfoot hunt down in Georgia, so I'm trying to keep my wits about me. But did one in particular monster in all this stand out to you? That's your favorite that you were like, okay, this is good jumping off with. Or one that's like, if people go, oh, what's your book about? Tell me one. So would you have the one that's kind of like your thing?
No, it's really, yes and no. There are quite a few. I will always go with Bigfoot. Love Bigfoot. I could, if somebody asks how many, what can you talk about for an hour without notes? Bigfoot. Hell yes, I could talk about Bigfoot for an hour without notes. I don't know if people get tired of him or not. So I'm going to go with something else. We can talk about the big guy later because I've got a few interesting thoughts about him. But the Luska, I think, might be one of my favorites, and it's on the cover.
There you go. Okay. Oh yes, interesting. Yeah.
The big shark octopus thing.
Yeah.
This is Caribbean monster. It's Sci-Fi Channel made a movie called Sharktopus back in 2010 that was based on this. But it's been reported down in the Caribbean. Grabs boats, grabs people with its tentacles, and drags them under the water to eat them. That's always pleasant.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, as am I. I have a deep-seated fear of the water. I don't like being out. If I was ever out, I'm sure I have at one point once or twice in my life. Been out for far enough where you can't see the land anymore. That's when I start to get a little freaked out. Where it's like, okay.
If I'm on a boat, if I'm on some kind of a ship, I don't think it would really bother me. But a few years ago, my wife and I took our kids to the Gulf Coast. Because that was the closest 14-hour drive to the to the water, and so our kids could swim in the Gulf. And I was sitting in the sand with our 2-year-old making sand castles, and my wife and our older two were out in the water, and they were swimming quite far out there. And I yelled, I said, "Don't go out so far. There's sharks." And of course she yells back, "There aren't any sharks." And
I'm gonna hear you.
And about 30 minutes later, a guy sand fishing, surf fishing down the beach, pulls a shark in.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so they got closer. They got a lot closer. Yeah, dude, I saw Jaws back in the 70s. That scared the hell out of me.
Oh, it's a frightening. Yeah. Well, sharks are scary, dude. That's for sure. Yeah. And a shark like this one on the cover, a shark that has tentacles, that's like That's like the ultimate aquatic killing machine.
Yes, it is. And the thing about sharks is the amount of human attacks, human deaths a year caused by sharks are far less than cattle or white-tailed deer in North America.
Okay, well, that's from hitting the deer, right? Like your car, kind of.
Oh, yeah. And cattle, it's being trampled.
Right.
Yeah.
Trampled by cattle. That's not a way to go, but it happens.
Yeah,
More likely than shark attack.
I don't know. I think I might rather, that happen than having a pig eat me. There are domestic pigs that eat farmers, a few every year. I'm sure that's a great way to go.
That's some Animal Farm shit.
Well, right. It's payback for all that damn bacon I've eaten.
Yeah, exactly. Now, was there a part of the world that you thought was particularly weird? I thought the Caribbean stuff was really interestingly strange. I thought like some of the stuff there was like particularly up. Like I'm looking at this like hat man without a face. There were these like little shadow beings like called the Duppy, a man and a little dog. These are all just in the crypt, like weird, like the weirdest. A lot of the weirder sort of like almost humanoid like things I noticed seem to be in the Caribbean.
Well, and here's why. We've got the native stories from the Caribbean. Then we've got the Spanish influence. We have Catholicism. The French were down there at one point. Slaves brought over from Africa back, in the 1600s or whatever. All of the legends from these different parts of Africa, from the people who already lived there, throw some Christianity into it and some Spanish legends, and a lot of weird stuff happens.
Yeah.
So absolutely, yeah. The Caribbean is absolutely full of strangeness. I'm gonna butcher some of these names, like the La Siguanaba. La Siguanaba. See, I totally butchered that, but that is a Caribbean story, and it's a cautionary tale. There are a lot of cautionary tales in this book, and this is a beautiful woman who waits at the side of the road. She seems to be in trouble, and when a man comes by, she tries to seduce him, and if seduction is successful, her head turns into a horse's head. She rips his heart out and throws it away.
Oh boy! Because
any man, she knows if they've got a fiance or a wife or a significant other. This is a don't be unfaithful to your spouse sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So I see what you're saying. Yeah. A lot of those stories are kind of like that. Keep the kids from getting too close to the water kind of thing, or being out too late at night kind of tales.
Right. Get dead. Don't go outside the fire because this monster is going to get you. Yeah. All those sort of things.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you find any area? Well, we kind of did that, but so you did touch on North America, even though you did. I mean, not United States, even though you did. Were these like sort of the deep cuts that didn't make it into the last book, or did you have to like really dig for new American ones? Because
I really had to dig for new American ones, I found at least one, usually at least two for every state. So I didn't want to duplicate anything from the first book. I wanted to give them all totally fresh monsters, and it was fun finding new ones.
Yeah.
There were ones that I'm trying to remember. Yeah, this is a while since I wrote this. The Fresno Nightcrawler was one.
Yes, I had a feeling I was going to mention that one, because that one I felt like was like tailor-made, no pun intended, for Jason Offutt. I was like, if anyone like this, then the Fresno Nightcrawlers is a Jason Offutt cryptid I've ever heard of one.
Absolutely. I was really upset that I hadn't heard of it before. Yeah, the Fresno Nightcrawler, there was a security camera that caught these two walking beings that looked like a pair of white pants. So two pair of white pants were walking, and that was, like I said, caught on security cam. But it was they were seen other times. Most notably, a husband and wife were driving at Carmel, California, one night, and they crossed the road. Just a pair of pants.
Just a pair of white pants.
Yeah.
Ghostly pants. Ghost pants almost. Yeah.
So, I mean, what
Yeah.
could something like that be? An extraterrestrial? Disco Stew from The Simpsons boogieing down? I don't know, man.
I don't know. It's interesting. And that's a relatively new phenomenon, too, the Fresno night crawlers. That's like I've only heard of that like in the last few years, relatively, like in the last decade or something like that. It's a rarely seen new cryptid, which is nice.
It was, it's the 1970s is.
Oh, really? First time they popped up?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah. It looks like
stand
bell.
corrected.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I don't necessarily want to give you total credit, but in a sense, you're the one who introduced me to the squonk. And then we went crazy about the squonk on the show when we talked about chasing American monsters. And then I started to see the squonk like everywhere. There's been a squonkassance in the last like few years, to the point that I was watching Abbott Elementary the other night. I don't know if you watched that show.
Oh, I love that show.
Well, there's an episode recently where they went camping. Ironically enough, I watched it when I got back from my camping trip. So I was like, oh, this will be funny. And the little nerdy white guy, he's like, they're all out in the woods. And he's like, you got to watch out for the squonk. He's like, it's Pennsylvania's most dangerous creature, the squonk. And he's going on and on. I think the whole episode sort of had this underlying storyline about they're afraid that the squonk's going to come into the camp and get them and everything. And I'm like, holy shit, you've come a long way, baby. You've come a long way, squonk. You're on Abbott Elementary now. Yeah,
well, I am taking full credit for them knowing about the squonk.
Fair enough. Yeah. And now they have a festival for the squonk, believe it or not.
A squonk festival. All right, no, that's great. I love it when a cryptid gets its due. Not everybody can be Mothman.
It's happening more and more all the time, so it's pretty great. Now, what you had thoughts on Bigfoot? Let's talk about the big guy. You got thoughts on Bigfoot because he's been on my mind a lot lately.
Yeah, I've definitely had thoughts on Bigfoot. I'm gonna throw a couple of different ones out there.
Okay.
One is, and I've been batting this around in my head for a while.
Yeah.
It seems like there are Bigfoot sightings where it's claimed that that Bigfoot looks like a great ape, like a gorilla, he has that facial structure. But honestly, most of the time it is a human face that Bigfoot possesses. I think overwhelmingly, in fact, there have been, because I remember Art Bell had a hunter on who said he had Bigfoot in his sights but didn't shoot because it was a man's face looking back at him.
Right.
From what I understand, a lot of Native American tribes feel that they're another branch of humanity, that they traded with them in the past, and they're kind of brothers. And I'm going to take that and mix it with some DNA evidence that's come out in the last 10, 20 years. One was from Dr. Melba Ketchum, and she. The DNA evidence that she had came back as being human, but with some anomalies. There was a Bigfoot researcher in Alberta, Canada, who had some Bigfoot DNA and sent it in, and it came back as human with some anomalies. There was a British researcher who had Zaina's son dug up. Zaina is the Russian Alma that was by a village and kept as a slave and a sex slave. I'm sure she was really hot, being a Bigfoot and all, but she had offspring.
Yeah.
So how are you going to have offspring unless you're closely related?
Human, related, yeah.
And the researcher from England who had the son dug up, it came back as human with some DNA with some anomalies. So, what if it is? What if this? Because there's been talk by Bigfoot researchers for years about, well, maybe it's just extant Neanderthals.
Right, right.
Other, Denisovians or some other type of human being, which would explain the largeness, the excessive hair, and then the human-like feet.
Yeah.
So
That's
I'm leaning more towards that nowadays.
that Bigfoot is like a sort of breakaway, more human than animal, sort of like breakaway side splinter species or something.
It's a cousin we're not going to invite over for dinner.
There you go. All right. Well, that would, I mean, yeah, there's a certain, elusiveness to the creature if it exists, if it is a creature that exists, that it's like, okay, this thing isn't operating on, it's operating like on our level or something. It's very.
And you've already alluded to today about it being intelligent. That's what we get, is the fact that that Bigfoot is an intelligent creature. I don't like the fact that a lot of Bigfoot people now are going with the interdimensional Bigfoot, or the spiritual Bigfoot, or
Right.
And they go with that because of the fact that Bigfoot's can hide its footprints and vanish in the wilderness.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You were in the wilderness recently.
I sure was.
I've spent time in the woods, in forest before, and there have been times I was walking through a forest and a deer, which admittedly is not nearly as big as a Bigfoot, but they're still a large animal. A deer would shoot up 10 feet away from me and take off running, and I had no clue this large animal was that close to me.
Right.
All right, and deer are stupid, so I think Bigfoot could figure out how to hide from us fairly easily.
Well, I did think that when I was out on the Bigfoot track. I was like, as we were walking in the woods, I'm like, well, you think Bigfoot wouldn't be around here, but like, what if we were out in the daytime at one point? I'm like, what if you just fucking step on a Bigfoot that's like sleeping under a bunch of leaves? You don't even know any better, So anything's possible.
Yeah, you should have taken out some sandwiches. It might have gone better.
Sandwiches, yeah.
Waiting around. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing with the existence of Bigfoot, and this goes with ghosts as well.
Yeah.
Every civilization that we've ever known of, every culture has got Bigfoot in their belief system. All right. All across North America, we've had Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it. The grass man, the skunk ape, the wood devil from New Hampshire. I mean, we've got Bigfoot all over the place. The Sisamite from South, or from Mexico and Caribbean is their Bigfoot. There are also types of Bigfoot in South America. In Europe was the wild man of the forest. We've got Almasties in Asia, the Yeren in China.
The Yowie down in Australia.
The Yowie in Australia. Sri Lanka has its own Bigfoot. New Zealand has its own Bigfoot.
Yep.
In Africa, it has various types of Bigfoot or Littlefoot. There's some small ones. We've got the orang pindak from Sumatra, and there's a couple of Bigfoot in Japan. I mean, if all of these cultures have had this creature in their belief system before they were in contact with other parts of the world, I mean, how the hell can you say that that's not evidence that something's been going on?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you make a fantastic case there, and I totally agree. It's like the only other explanation is like some kind of weird psychological, I don't know, archetype that every culture seems to make up, which is like, I don't know. I'm not like a cultural guru or whatever, so I couldn't tell you if that's even, but I'm sure that would be the answer from the skeptics. Well, they must all dream up the same archetype that is the wild man or something. So I mean, that would be their argument, I'm sure. But to me, it's like, or this thing really exists.
Or they freaking saw it. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, it's the same with ghosts. Every single culture's had ghosts in their belief system.
Right.
Now, the one that kind of gets me also is dragons. There's dragons on every continent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, again, where did that come from? Somebody asked Carl Sagan about dragons once, and he said that it had something to do with or some sort of genetic fear of lizards.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's BS, man. I mean, what kind of sense does that make?
What does that guy know about lizards? He's an astronaut or what?
Okay, he was an astrophysicist. Yeah.
I know. I was being facetious. Yeah, yeah. Oh wow, we're getting rowdy tonight. Did you find yourself? We're gonna get back to Bigfoot in a little bit, but did you find yourself? I was very amused that like with every body of water, even I give Kutch shit about this because there's one in North Carolina. It's like a reservoir. It's like that's not possible, but it's like every body of water, given enough time, will grow a sea monster. It's or a lake monster, grow its own monster.
Every single one, and yeah, the reservoir. There are a number of reservoirs in the United States alone that have lake monsters. And that what? Where did it come from? Did it fall out of the sky?
Right, exactly.
Colorado with Dillon Lake. It's called Blue Dilly. It looks like a cross between a manta ray and a dolphin. And it's like, no, wait a second. That's a reservoir. Where did it come from?
Yeah. I love it.
And there are so many small bodies of water that have them that, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. There were a number of lakes in eastern, I think it was eastern-ish Kansas, and they were drained and partially filled for more farmland, which I don't know why. That's all the state of Kansas is farmland. But there was in one of these, they called them sinkholes, which they were small lakes, and they have one called Sinkhole Sam, which is a serpent, serpent-like, more like, Cadbrosaurus-looking thing.
Yeah.
And there's no way in hell there's one in a lake in Kansas.
No, but it's awesome that happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like an adorable part of the human condition. We're talking about sort of fabricating monsters. In that instance, you can, because it's like, they are, because it's not possible that this thing's just in a reservoir. But as long as, if this story gets around, if the water's there for long enough time,
right,
it'll grow.
Right. One of my favorite stories that seems to come up in a lot of places where there are lakes that have dams are catfish that have grown the size of VW beetles.
Oh wow! All right.
Now, across the world, let's go to Spain and let's go to Southeast Asia. They do have 600 to 800-pound catfish, and they're freaking enormous.
Wow.
They actually live, but in North America, no. However, we have these legends all over the place. Mark Twain, in his memoir "Life on the Mississippi," wrote about the Native Americans around Hannibal, talking about the river devil, which was an enormous catfish that would overturn boats. All right, there was. This is the fun part. Is down and in South Missouri, there is a dam called Bagnell Dam. It's for a recreational lake, and there's those legends about the giant catfish. And I was talking with the Department of Conservation down there. Yeah, and they have in a tank a 180-pound catfish.
Oh wow!
Caught in that lake, and that's a big fish.
Yeah.
And it has an enormous bite mark on its back.
Uh-oh.
So something thought that was food.
Wow. Weird.
Yeah. So is there a 800-pound catfish in the lake? Maybe. I don't know. Something bit that big catfish.
That's insane. Yikes. Weird. That's wild.
Yeah, I've wanted to be in that lake. I don't like to think about it.
Where there are a lot of, I always find they get the short end of the stick in a way. Where there are a lot of aerial. Are there any really particularly interesting aerial monsters in the book? As I say, you get the land, the water ones, the air ones are a little bit harder to kind of like. They're few and far between, it seems.
Yeah, they really are. They're most of the air ones in Chasing North American Monsters are. I mean, there were Thunderbird sightings.
Of course.
We've heard those before. Pterodactyl sightings, we've heard those before. There were a couple of Mothman-like sightings in Mexico.
Yeah.
over the decades. There was a sighting and a photograph of what looked like a Pegasus in Mexico around a volcano.
Oh, wow.
I mean, of course, the photo's far away and grainy, but it does kind of look like a horse.
Interesting. All right. Pegasus. Yeah, well, that's the other part. Yeah, you see some of these monsters are like mythical, sort of chimera type creatures in a way. Or I don't know if necessarily Pegasus is that, but in some instances, that's what these monsters are. They're like weird sort of human animal hybrids or animal hybrids. It's they're weird like that.
Right. Some of my favorite ones are like there's a couple of sheep squatch. There's a sheep squatch in West Virginia.
Oh yeah. Right.
A couple of goat men that look like a satyr.
Mm-hmm.
There's bat squatch in Washington State, which is a purple Bigfoot that has bat wings. That's beautiful.
Bat wings. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of that one?
Bat squatch.
Bat squatch. Yeah, that's sexy. That's a sexy Bigfoot. That's like that's a Bigfoot you want to get to know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, yeah, you're right. Not a lot of air ones. There were a couple of sightings that I reported in Chasing American Monsters, and it was a very similar type creature. There was one sighting in the suburbs around Chicago, one in New Mexico, and one in California, and it was basically the same type of creature. It looked like a translucent flying carpet with eyes and a mouth.
Translucent flying carpet with eyes and a mouth. I love that. I love all of that. Yeah. Because see, when you hear these flying creatures, they're usually like you were saying, a bird, a pterodactyl. I like a good flying creature where you're like, what the fuck even is that thing? Yeah, that's one of them. That's wild.
Right. That is a great one. It rippled in waves as it flew through the sky. It didn't make any noise. I mean, yeah, that is a cool one.
Yeah. See, I think that's part of the problem in a way where it's like, like for some reason, I feel like we think the sky is all mapped out. We know everything there. And it's like, how, like maybe because it's like, oh, where could one of those things hide? Who knows? I don't know. I mean, it's a big place, the sky. So who knows? You know?
Right. Well, I mean, science has said that there are non-earthly or extraterrestrial elements up in the stratus, up in the higher elements of the of our atmosphere. So we have no idea what's up there.
Well, you mean like space creatures, kind of like sort of upper atmosphere creatures?
Why not?
I agree. I would love that. Because, like, look, they always show you those animals that are like that grow like in the worst conditions ever. You know, they're always like, oh, look at this thing. It grows 8 miles underground and it has no eyes and it's white, completely translucent to it because it needs no whatever. And I don't even know how it eats. It eats probably like sucks up worms out of the dirt or some shit. I don't even know. But or little plants. I don't know how this thing survives.
It's lava through its ass, Tim. That's how tough that thing is.
Exactly.
And there are cases that water bears. You know what those things are?
The tardigrade. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, which is a great name. That'll name a car. Tardigrade. Anyway, those things
cool.
Have been found outside the space station.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So it would be cool if there were like more complex creatures sort of living in the upper atmosphere. You know, that's where your dragons went. You know, that would be awesome.
Right.
That's why they're like, look, we got to be really careful with this fly. It's not the Van Allen belts we got to worry about. It's the dragons.
It's the dragons. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, like I said, every culture had a dragon. I mean, why come up with a flying lizard?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. The upper atmosphere. There was a short story, a science fiction short story that was written in the 1920s, I believe. I can't remember the author, but it was about a pilot who was piloting a 2-wing plane, and he went up too high, and he found all of these creatures that. Do you remember the rod phenomenon?
Yeah, I remember the rod phenomenon.
Yeah, the rods. These creatures were a lot like the rods, flying around above the clouds.
Yeah, yeah.
And, that was, who knows what the hell's up there.
Exactly. It's not like there's a lot flying around up there right now.
And the air's interesting, but man, not necessarily lakes. I think we got a good handle on lakes, but ocean.
Well, I told you the ocean scares me, dude.
It should. We've with satellites we've mapped 95% of the ocean floor, but we still don't know 95% of what's living down there.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stories about what we don't know has to do with Thor Heyerdahl, the Norwegian anthropologist.
Okay.
Back in the late 40s, early 50s, I've got his book Kon-Tiki on my shelf over here, but he had a hypothesis that the South Pacific Islands were inhabited by people from Peru because there were some plants from Peru that were in those islands. There were certain words used by the Peruvian natives that were used on those islands. Some of the architecture and imagery were the same.
Okay.
And colleagues were like, "No, that's not true because we say so." So he was like, "Okay, I'm going to prove it could happen." He built a balsa wood raft, and which is what the Peruvians had because they didn't have great sailing ships, but they had these rafts. And he and 4 other Norwegians, I guess Norwegians are badass. They sailed 4,000 miles out in the middle of frickin' nowhere.
Jesus.
To prove that somebody could do that from Peru to the southeast, South Pacific.
When was this? Like in the 60s or something?
No, this is like late 40s, early 50s.
That's even crazier. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, they had a ham radio set, and they would broadcast, and my mom remembers listening to it on the radio when she was young.
That's what.
Anyway, but the point when this comes with creatures is he said he wrote his memoir at night. He would see lights underneath the boat, underneath the water, following his boat. And this was absolutely in the middle of no shipping lanes. Nobody sailed there.
Right.
And I talked with a marine biologist who said, yeah, there are self-luminescent plants and animals, but they're not going to be following a boat. They're not going to be that high in the water that you could actually see them. Okay, so what the hell is that? Yeah. He also reported only at night, these basketball-sized eyes would appear in the water.
Jesus Christ.
And look at the as it went by.
Yeah, that's why I'm afraid. Yeah, that's why I'm afraid to be out in the game. You can't, yeah. The ocean at night itself is terrifying because it's so dark too. It's
right. I mean, if you're on the beach, I'm okay with it, but I don't want to be out on it.
And I can't. How big could this boat really have been?
Oh, not that big, no.
Right, exactly. So you're not like, yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, there's when it comes to the ocean, I mean, marine biologists say that there is no way the megalodon still lives.
Okay, yeah.
There is a shark that fits at least this was in the 60s, and I think maybe in the 70s, called the Black Devil, that was in the Sea of Cortez between Mexico proper and Baja California. And it was a megalodon-sized shark that people witnessed. What people don't understand is we don't know anything when it comes to the oceans or life on this planet, period. At least 18,000 new species are found every year. Most are small fish or bugs, but every once in a while we find something big, like in 1977, the megamouth shark, which is 18 feet long. I mean, how do you not know that's there?
Well, we haven't really been looking until now.
Right. Well, and so, I mean, something like a megalodon, maybe it's a long shot, but when it comes to maybe dinosaurs from 65 million years ago, the ocean would have been a perfect place for them to stay alive.
Presumably, yeah. Well, that is kind of weird in a way. Like the dinosaurs turned into the birds here, but it's like, wouldn't the ones that lived in the ocean just keep living okay? Couldn't they? Shouldn't they have been fine? Like, I don't, all the water dinosaurs. I don't know. I got to get Tyler Greenfield back on. He's my paleontologist guest. I got to ask him that question because that's
all right. Yeah, do that. I want to know the answer to that.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Are you, despite all the how widespread Bigfoot is, how ubiquitous, I guess is the word I was trying to find, or prevalent, are you surprised that this is still out of reach? This creature that we still haven't had some kind of breakthrough on all this.
We have been looking for Bigfoot, Yeti, whatever you want to call it, forever.
Yeah.
Hey, we've been looking for this thing forever. You'd have thought of all the people who see Bigfoot walking or jogging or whatever across the highway in the middle of the night. You think somebody would have hit it with their car.
Right.
Which probably wouldn't have hurt the Bigfoot, but it would have damaged the car.
Yeah.
That's one of the arguments skeptics use that I can't argue with.
Yeah, no, it's the onus is on us as the Bigfoot believers to produce the Bigfoot. You know what I'm saying? So
right, and then it doesn't do us any good when some asshole like Tom Biscardi, what was it, like 15 years ago, claimed to have a Bigfoot in a freezer. Some guy in Georgia or North Carolina shot a Bigfoot and put it in his freezer, and we got to see the picture. And it ended up being, an ape costume with pig intestines hanging out of it.
Yep. I remember. I took a screen. I gotta dig that out somewhere. But yeah, I took a screenshot of the CNN Chiron when they were about to do the press conference, and it was like happening soon. Bigfoot press conference. And I'm like, holy shit! This is like. Yeah. Did this guy really get a Bigfoot? What the fuck? I was like, nah, it's all bullshit.
Bullshit. It's the same with the guy from I can't remember what his name is, from Mexico, who was
Jaime Maussan.
That guy, yeah, taking around the little alien dolls. And although I like hearing what Avi Loeb, the
Harvard astronomer
has to say. It's like anything that he sees or somebody sees in the sky, it's an extraterrestrial craft. It's like, come on, dude. You've been in that room for too long. Just shut up for a second. All right. Take a deep breath.
Do you think some of these monsters featured in the book kind of fall within the realm of like the fairy creature sort of thing? Not necessarily like a animal per se, but sort of an elemental being.
There are quite a few, and that's another creature like Bigfoot that is not only, because again, Bigfoot is not only just seen everywhere across the world. It has the same behavior, the same smell, the wood knot, all that stuff. It's the same with the fey creatures.
Right.
The fey creatures up around your neck of the woods, the
Puckwudgies.
The Puckwudgies. All right, 2 to 3 feet tall. They have big ears, big noses, and they dress like the natives. They carry spears and bows and arrows like the natives. If you are kind to nature and you're lost in the woods, they'll help you get out. Yeah. If you're kind of a dick, they'll lead you off a cliff. Very mischievous. That is a description of every fey creature from North America down through Central America and South America. Africa has these. That's every tomty, hobgoblin, troll, elf, brownie, sprite. I mean, it's from every culture. You've got these.
Yeah.
And the thing that really made me happy is when the people of Flores, the island of Flores in Indonesia, They
Yeah.
were talking about Ibu Gogo, and the Western science was like, this is adorable. So the Ibu Gogo, the grandma who eats everything, is a 2 to 3 foot tall person with a big nose and big ears who comes into your village and steals children. Other fairies steal children, right? Yeah, absolutely they do. And it takes them away to a cave and eats it. And they just, Western science considers these things adorable native stories until in the island of Flores, they found the remains of these creatures that were 2 to 3 feet tall humans.
Yeah.
Are now classified as a subspecies of humanity called Homo florensis.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But they have the same description of all the fae folk around the planet.
It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. It makes you wonder. Especially, you talk, if the Bigfoot is a breakaway thing, it does, if that thing has a hard enough time existing in the woods. I noticed that when I was out in Georgia, it was like in the woods there. I was like, I'm a little bit more of a skeptic. I know you don't like the paranormal Bigfoot, but I was a little bit more of a skeptic of Bigfoot there because I'm like, how's this thing going to survive? How's like a group of these things going to survive out here? But I don't know. But I mean, the challenges facing a Bigfoot population are literally significantly reduced if the creatures are little 2 to 3 foot little human type beings. They can make it out in the woods. They'll do all right.
Right, I agree with that. But when it comes to Bigfoot, and because a lot of people, look at a map of North America and they're like, well, I mean, we know everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere mapped. I mean, but if you look at a picture of North America at night, just the United States, there's a huge swath of land.
Oh yeah.
Just west of like mid Kansas. A little bit of Colorado lights up, but there's a lot of, dark space.
Yeah.
About 42% of the United States is uninhabited. I mean,
oh yeah, mountains and forests and all that. Yeah.
Deserts. I mean, it's occasionally inhabited. We drive through it all the time, but a lot of people don't live in these spots. So at least out west, there's a lot of places that group of Bigfoot could hide.
Yeah.
Especially Canada, down in the Amazon, the Congo Basin alone is, it's like the size of the country of India.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, it's huge. Africa, the continent is so much bigger than what our maps show.
Really, I could imagine that. Yeah. Well, I don't trust the maps as it is. So
because the man puts the maps together.
Exactly. Thank you, Jason. Yes. Yes, you've come to my TED Talk. Yes,
hey,
of course.
Brother, we're on the same page here.
Have you been out looking for one of these things?
It says you found something, it sounds like.
No, I know. Jesus, I know. Yeah, I found bronchitis out in the woods. Have you ever gone out looking for one of these things?
No.
All right.
I don't go out looking for things. I mean, I've written quite extensively on ghosts, and I've gone to places that are purportedly haunted, but I've never gone looking for ghosts.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I don't go hunting for the things. I go to see what the place is like so I can write about it with more authority, and I interview people who've actually seen them.
I feel like you on a ghost hunt would be fantastic. You should find like a local ghost group to just shadow, a ride along, just to see. It's an interesting. It's kind of what I did. It's an interesting process. The whole thing. They take that shit very
interesting now because a few years ago, Missouri made weed legal.
Oh, well,
yeah, it would be a lot more.
Right. Can't beat that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, have you ever had a paranormal experience yourself?
I've had quite a few.
Yeah.
Certainly, like the first one, I was about 8 years old. Walked out of my house was an old house. It was about 120 years old at that point. Yeah. And I walked out of my bedroom one afternoon, to go out into the hallway. It was lined with bookshelves. I was going to get a book, and there's a little boy standing there. And I grew up 6 miles away from the nearest town. I was the only little boy within 6 miles.
Oh boy.
And I could also see through this kid, so there was another problem.
Wow.
Yeah, so we stared at each other for I don't know how long. Probably it could have been 30 seconds. It could have been 2 seconds. I don't know. But the kid blinked, and that broke my shock. And I turned around and walked into my bedroom and shut the door.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean, and I've had the common cold spots where there shouldn't be cold spots. I've had those when I was researching my first ghost book. I've heard a name being called out when nobody was around.
Oh boy.
Well, except for I was playing cards with 3 other guys.
Yeah.
And we were at this guy named Victor's house. And we were down in the basement. All that was in the basement, because it was a new house. There wasn't any crap in the basement yet. He had a beer fridge and a table and chairs.
That's how you do it, baby.
It's exactly how you do it. 4 guys in the house playing cards. All of a sudden, a woman's voice from the far corner said, "Victor."
Oh, Jesus.
So we finished our hand, and then we looked at each other. We're like, "Did you hear that?" "Yeah, I heard that." "Did you hear that?" "Oh, yeah, I heard that." And then we got up, and we all left Victor at home alone.
Oh, no.
We were done. We checked out.
Jesus. That's weird. That's spooky.
I mean, I've seen crap in the sky, but when it comes to anything cryptozoological, no.
I feel like that's in a sense, I think that's what drove me to the thing was like, ghosts. You got ghosts, yeah, sure. You're more likely to see ghosts. I feel like the likelihood goes down. It's like ghosts, then UFOs, then some kind of creature. Like the creatures are the hardest to see if you're gonna have any luck.
Oh, absolutely. And when it comes to that's the least least likely thing that I would want to encounter, because it would be the most likely if I did encounter that would injure me.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not worried about a ghost hurting me. I'm not worried about little gray guys coming down and probing me. Okay, I might feel in the sky and think that's cool, but I'm not worried about them. If I'm out in the woods and I see a North American hyena, all right, that's going to mess with me.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is they told us that on the trip. It was like, they were like, one of the biggest rules was like, if we encounter something, don't fucking run away. If you run away, one of us is going to run after you and tackle you, because if it's some kind of like actual legitimate predator animal, it will come after you, when you run away. So,
yeah, if it's a bear, you're just hope you're the faster of the group.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, you just hope the guy who tackles you is the one that the bear catches up to first.
Right.
That's the plan. See, they didn't really think about that. Jesus Christ. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting. I hold out hope that they'll capture a Bigfoot in my lifetime. I mean, there's a lot of shit that's happened in our lives that we didn't really ever expect to happen. So it's like, why not? I'm not pinning my hope on the aliens, but Bigfoot, I think that would be a great thing to see in my lifetime.
I think that would, because there are so many things that I didn't expect to happen. Because when I was a kid, we didn't know of any extrasolar planets.
Yes.
We got like 7,000 or more now?
Right. When we were kids, there were 9 planets.
There were 9 planets. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And we've also had the James Webb has detected, water on planets in the Goldilocks zone, for God's sake. Never expected that. We're going back to the moon. There's NASA's talking about Mars at some point. I hope I live long enough to see all that happen. So why couldn't somebody capture a Bigfoot? The one I think most likely, however, is going to be the thylacine in Australia.
Okay, yeah.
Tasmanian tiger. Because, I mean, it was the last known living one died in the Hobart Zoo in 1936, I think it was, maybe 38. It wasn't declared extinct until, I think, 84. But there have been so many sightings from people since that point. In Australia, a lot like I said about the U.S., there's a lot of places people do not live. That's
Yeah,
just
for
they're
sure.
driving in.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Now, you're kind of a sci-fi guy, so like, what are your thoughts on the whole prospect of like bringing these animals back? You know, some of them aren't going to be like a perfect one-for-one recreation, but like they're going to be sort of a half, half this, half like the mammoth one. They're saying is going to be kind of like not exactly a woolly mammoth, but like a woolly mammoth placed onto it. But the thylacine one sounds more like they're really trying to create a genuine thylacine. What are your thoughts on the idea of bringing these animals back?
They're dead for a reason. Although I would love seeing a woolly mammoth, but it would be a woolly half mammoth, half South or half Indian elephant. Because
Right.
that's interesting. It's the same like the dire wolves they brought back. They're not dire wolves. You can't really call them that. They're kind of a half and half. And we've got they're wanting to bring back the dodo.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, which would take their closest living relative, and it would be fun, but something would go all Jurassic Park.
That's the feeling I get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, why stop there? We have Neanderthal DNA. Why not bring those back?
Well, that'll be the big debate, right? Yeah. That'll be then. What are we gonna keep bringing back? Yeah. No, I can see too. Yeah, where it turns out, they would like bring back the woolly mammoths, and then somehow they would like reproduce way too fast, and it'd be like, oh shit, now we got the whole North Pole's overrun by these.
Well, we just eat them.
That's true.
That the one that it'd be a Jurassic Park thing where they wouldn't just bring back the woolly mammoth. They would bring back the woolly rhino. They would bring back the I don't remember the exact name of the hyena from the Pleistocene, but it was enormous and terrifying. They'd bring back the saber-toothed cats.
Right.
There's where we're running into a problem.
Well, then it becomes if they like master this technology, then that the fucking obvious next step is Jurassic Park. Is to create a fucking T-Rex. Isn't that, maybe they don't even want to say that, but like this company that's this one, I think it's called Mammoth or whatever, that's like trying to do this. But I think that's like in the back of their minds, kind of, where they're like, all right, look, first we make the extinct animals, the ones people want us to make. All right, well, then we make the T-Rexes and shit.
No, you're 100% on it, because let's look Star Trek. The original Star Trek sent a lot of people into sciences. The character of Scotty made a lot of people back then want to become engineers. In the 90s, we had the Scully effect, where because of Dana Scully from the X-Files, a lot of women went into the sciences. Yeah. And this has got to be the Jurassic Park effect. Okay, we can't do this for the T-Rex now. Let's start with something a little bit easier, like a woolly mammoth.
Right.
T-Rex soon enough.
That'll be, and then they'll, with AI.
Let's just go all in and get a blood sample from the Shroud of Turin and bring Jesus back.
Wow. Jesus. No pun intended. Offutt's on fire tonight, folks. All right. Interesting. Well, speaking of which, are you still talking about time travel? You still got it on your mind?
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
Yeah.
I still have a time machine in my office at work.
You ever pull it out and just try to get it to go?
Oh, occasionally I'll pull it out to show somebody. Yeah. Of course, it has an enormous electromagnet with it, so I've got to take my debit card and put it in another room.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't want to wipe out my debit card or my computer hard drive.
Yeah. Do you have any like a knee replacement or anything? You'll pull it right out of your fucking leg.
Man, I don't. I'm old, but I'm not that old yet.
There you go. All right, good to know. Did you hear about the woman from Torino or something like that? It's called there was have you heard of the Torred man story, right?
I owned a Gran Torino. What? Oh, the Torrid man. Yeah, that's a great story.
Well, you know what happened recently was someone in I I think somewhere in Latin America, but it could have been somewhere else in the world, like made a video, a fake video of they took a clip of a woman at LaGuardia at JFK Airport, like talking to like the flight desk or whatever, and they put a fake voiceover thing that recreated the Torred man story, but as a new one, where it's like this woman just recently, this just happened. This woman came to JFK. She was from Torenza or some other very similar sounding thing, but it's like a world that never existed. Told the story like beat by beat. And this thing spread like wildfire all over the internet. Not really in America, but like all over the world elsewhere. And like it was like people who hadn't heard the Torred story. It was like, no, this is just a copy of the Torred story. This didn't really happen. It's crazy.
This really this whole using AI to do things like this.
Yeah.
One as a writer, I absolutely loathe people using AI for writing.
Absolutely. Same here.
Also, as a longtime journalist, I loathe people pulling freaking pranks. You know,
okay.
It's getting easier. There's a video out there, and it starts out with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, is it okay? I heard about this.
Man, I absolutely love Neil deGrasse Tyson. He can take really complicated, highbrow, confusing, topics and break it down to where you can actually understand it. But here he is talking about how he was wrong. He saw new data, and the Earth actually is flat. And then he pulls away from the screen, and he's like, "I did not say that. This is not me. Somebody did this." And I'm like, "Crap! I couldn't tell that it wasn't him."
Yeah. For a little while, you were sort of doubting everything you ever knew about the shape of the planet.
Yeah, no, I really wasn't.
Okay.
We've known the damn planet was round since for over 2,000 years. I'm going to believe the Greeks on this.
Whatever happened to the black-eyed kids, Jason? Those were like your babies, and then it was a big thing for a while. But now it's like I never hear anything about the black-eyed kids.
Oh yeah, and it was. I am one of the first writers to collect a bunch of stories about the black-eyed kids, and I had enough. I wrote an article for Nexus magazine about them a number of years ago. I interviewed tons of people about experts about drugs and diseases that might cause eyes to do that, and there really aren't any. Talked to somebody who'd bought some sclera contacts, and they would wear them, and their eyes were all black. And the guy said they were so uncomfortable and popped out every few minutes that no kid's going to wear these as a practical joke. Besides, they cost like $400 an eye. So
right.
It was just dumb. But I had all this information, and I was going to write a book. This was going to be the first book on black-eyed kids. And my wife, who edited all my stuff, said, "Jason, all of these monsters and ghosts and things that you write about, none of them bother me, except those creepy black-eyed kids. So if you write about them, you write a book about them, draw attention to yourself, and they come knocking on my door, it is your ass."
Well, there you go.
As a man who knows when to pick his battles, I didn't write it. And I was so happy when I think it was David Weatherly came out with his book. Pressure was off my back. But don't talk about them anymore.
It's very weird. I don't know what that's all about. If it was just a temporary thing, if they've gone underground, if their purpose has been served, if that like there was a thing they were here to accomplish, and who knows?
Here's something I've been batting around, and anything that I say is not something I believe.
Okay.
I mean, unless I say, like when I saw the full-bodied apparition, I know I saw that. But when I'm talking about all of these creatures, when I'm talking about UFOs, when I'm talking about, time travel, whatever, it's all really cool. And I do my research on these things to make sure the information I'm giving people is as right as I possibly can. But if anybody out there hears someone say they know exactly what Bigfoot is, exactly what a ghost is, exactly what black-eyed kids are. They're full of shit. They have absolutely no idea. Okay, so when I said this to say this. I said that to say this. I've been batting around in my head for a few years that a lot of these entities that show up. All right, for a while, Slender Man was one that people reported actually seeing and encountering, and he was totally made up. It was a creepypasta that was fabricated. But people actually honestly reported seeing it. Tons of people I interviewed who saw black-eyed kids. I have a feeling that there are entities out there that like the attention. And whenever something enters the zeitgeist, they become that thing for a brief period. And
all right.
then we have, these waves of UFOs, or waves of black-eyed kids, or, waves of whatever sightings. And then they just go away when people lose interest.
Yeah. Like the grinning man, that kind of thing.
That's sort of flannel man or whatever other man that comes up.
Yeah. Clowns, man. Yeah.
I've always thought that It is a documentary. Just how clowns are, dude. Chlorophobia is real.
There you go. Well, yeah. So you're working on a world book now.
Actually, no, it's in the publisher's hands.
So you finished a world book.
I finished a world book.
Because for the folks wondering, it's like I told Jason before we started, I'm not gonna. This book is thick anyway. I'm not gonna start hitting him with tell me about the skimmerink or whatever, because it's like he's gonna be like, get the fuck out of here, dude. What are you talking about? I wrote that book like 2 years ago or whatever, a year and a half ago. So you got the new one. What's on your did anything come up in the new book? I mean, people are gonna get it, but give us a little tease in a way of what you uncovered as you searched the globe.
Okay, the first I'm going to say the first two books had more than 250 monsters.
Okay.
The first one was kind of fudging a little bit because there were 251. All right, but that's more than 250.
That's technically still over. Yeah, that's fair.
Technically, yeah. I only got up to about 170 on the world's monsters, and that really doesn't sound. I should have more, but
yeah.
But I really had to go in like the big ones, like Yeti, like Loch Ness Monster. Your big famous creatures. I really had to go into depth on them.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons there are fewer. But I found a lot of crazy stuff. And I'm just going to give you a little taste of it.
I hope so.
There is a creature in China called the Zizi. I might be mispronouncing. It's Xizi.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. It is located in the mountains around water, like a lake. It can be anywhere from the size of the book to like 6 feet by 6 feet.
Oh wow!
And the word means blanket, leather or blanket, something like that.
Okay.
And what it does is it just lays there. It looks like trash, something discarded. And if a person gets close enough to it, it rises up and wraps around their arm, their leg, their torso. It has around its edges claws that it sinks into you.
Yikes.
And it suckers all over the bottom of it, and it drains you of blood.
Jesus Christ. I love this thing.
That is, it's funny. It looks like I said, a rug or a piece of leather. The thing that gets me is in an identical geography in South America in the Andes. It's up in the mountains with, lakes around water. The same creature.
Really?
And these are centuries old, where China and people in the Andes shouldn't have been communicating. And why the hell would they talk about this, even if they did?
Yeah.
And the name means the same thing in the local language.
Weird. That's wild.
Yeah, there's something there's something in nature called convergent evolution,
Yeah.
and it is when animals, even if they aren't related, but if they evolve in the same ecosystem,
Mm-hmm.
they evolve the same traits.
Okay.
There are a lot of crabs.
Right. Yeah.
There are also false crabs that look exactly like crabs. We eat them and they taste just like crabs. They act just like crabs, but they're not crabs.
What are they?
Also, a lot of false moles. So in the ocean, the way to survive is to become crab-like.
Okay.
I guess on Earth is to become mole-like.
Really?
Really.
I love moles.
There's even a marsupial mole in Australia.
Yeah.
All right, these animals are not related, but they've developed to be exactly the same.
Weird.
All right, there are legless lizards that look like snakes and behave like snakes, but they're not snakes.
Jeez.
There's a species of dog and a species of canine and a species of feline that live in a desert on opposite sides of the planet. They look identical and behave identically.
Really?
They're two different complete, but that's okay. Why I'm getting at this is there are so many similarities around the world with cryptids.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case with them.
Yeah. That's entirely possible. Yeah.
Nature's
That's
back,
entirely-
man. I love it.
It's great. It's wild. So now that you've completed your world journey, is this what I don't want to necessarily get to what's next for you here this early in the show, but what are you thinking about? Are you like Alexander the Great? Are you weeping because there are no more worlds to conquer?
Oh no, I've got enough monsters to complete Chasing the World's Monsters Volume 2.
Oh, there you go.
That might be on the table. Well, let's see what my publisher says. And I'm still writing fiction.
There you go. And the fiction's going well. I read a lot of I read some of your stuff, and I read a lot of your musings about writing. That's what I find quite you should do like a Stephen King on writing book, like what he did there.
Yeah, maybe if I become even at 25th as famous as him, I will do a writing book. Yeah,
I'll hold you to that. I'll hold you to that, man. This is your 20th book?
yes.
That's impressive, dude. That's
Man,
wild.
10 years old, and I told my parents after I got finished reading The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I told my parents, I want to do this. I want to write books. And they, you rub my head and you go play.
Yeah.
And if I would have just published one book, I would have been happy, I guess. But no, I wouldn't have felt satisfied. I have to keep going. That's why I can't wait to retire, man. People retire and they go back to work. I'm going to freaking write books all day.
Well, when are you planning on retiring, dude? You still teaching?
Yeah. I want to retire in 5 years. My wife's like, you can retire whenever you're ready to die.
Yeah. Okay.
That's beautiful.
You're going to retire? Well, I look forward to you in retirement. It's hard to imagine that you seem to already have sort of a retired mindset as it is now. So I can only imagine what kind of hijinks you're going to get up to.
Oh, man. You can't imagine how relaxed a man can get.
You're going to get an RV?
We've actually talked about it.
I could see you in the RV world, in the RV life.
Cruise around, man. Go see the black mailbox.
Oh, by Area 51?
Area 51, yeah, go up to Bluff Creek, hang out at all these places. I think that'd be a blast.
It would be cool. Go up to Ticonderoga, dude. We still got to meet up at Ticonderoga.
I am going to do that. I can't not do that. A friend of mine I used to work with, he just retired last year. He sent me pictures of him in the captain's chair.
He went. Yeah, see, dude. Gotta go. You gotta go. It's amazing. We got to plan. We should plan something. Even if we don't, putting on an event up there is too much trouble. We could probably do it on the cheap just to get out there. We would be able to do it. It would be fun.
Man, on the cheap, you're speaking my language.
Yeah. I don't know how long it would take you to Did you know that someone bought the Velasca Axe House? Did you hear about that whole thing?
No,
Oh yeah, some like big company bought it that owns a Lizzie Borden house and everything else.
I don't know. The guy who bought it and restored it as best he could. Darwin Lynn was the guy's name. He died like 10 years ago, and I don't know who's been running it since then. But I had you asked me about some if anything paranormal had happened to me before. I took a class. I taught a class every once in a while. I'll teach a class called paranormal journalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I took them to the Bluesky Axe murder house for a field trip, and a couple of cool things happened. One, a girl named Kara, 2 weeks before we left, said, "Jason, it was the weirdest thing. I had a dream that we went to the Bluesky Axe murder house, and as soon as I went in, I walked up these stairs, and the stairs were really narrow and steep. And I walked into this bedroom. I think it was the parents' bedroom. And then there was another bedroom off to the left, and I went in, and it was a kid's bedroom, and there was a Raggedy Ann doll that was lying on the pillow. And when I walked in, it turned its head and looked at me.
Jesus.
I'm like, that's a cool dream. That really is. Well, when we got there, as soon as we walked inside, she walks up the stairs. And the stairs were really narrow and steep. And the parents' bedroom was at the top of the stairs. And off to the left is a child's bedroom. And when I was downstairs talking with the owner, Darwin, she screamed bloody fucking murder.
Yeah.
And then ran down the stairs. And she was having a full-blown panic attack because everything was exactly like it was in her dream. Even down to the doll, except for the doll's head didn't turn, of course.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. I was wondering that. Well, that was the doll. The doll's head turning then, and the dream was its way of being like, this is going to happen.
Yeah, that was, and a few things. I mean, cold spots happened. I told my students not to bring a Ouija board, so what the hell did they do? They brought a Ouija board, and they stopped because it started spelling each of their names who were using it.
Really?
Yeah. But the coolest thing, though, is on the way up, I told everybody, don't be Zach Baggins. All right? Don't yell at the ghosts, please. Just don't do that. Not cool. And one of the students, his name was Stratton King. And Stratton said, oh, I'm totally going to yell at the ghosts.
Right.
So we get there, and he's walking through the whole house going, all right, you're here. I know it. Come out, you cowards, and face me.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, and then finally he shut up. He laid in the parents' bed and shut up for a while.
Jesus.
Right.
He's a real miscreant.
Yeah. He well, anyway, so while he was quiet, another kid broke out of Frank's box. The hell else like a spirit box.
Yeah.
I always thought those were garbage. And we went in the pantry, and it was a big pantry, and all of a sudden it got really cold in there. And he was like, is there anybody in here with us? Yes. Like, okay, all right. It said yes. That could have been picked out of the ether anywhere. And he started asking more questions, and the same voice gave yes or no answers. And finally he said, do you want us to be here? No.
Oh, boy.
Are you upset by us? Yes. Who upset you? Stratton.
Oh, wow. That's a great, wow.
Man, that was the hammer drop.
Yeah. Did he jump out of the bed then?
Oh, he was upstairs. We were.
Oh, God. Oh, I see. You didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah, we had to tell him later.
That's crazy. Jesus. Offutt, you're out of control. Do you still teach a lot of paranormal classes?
No, I mean, every once in a while, every 4 or 5 years, I'll teach one.
How does that work? Do they come to you or do you come to them, the school?
I proposed it way back when, so it's on the books. So anytime I want to offer it again,
Yeah.
I just schedule it.
That's cool.
Yeah, the university's been really cool. I was a little bit worried at first that the university would shy away from, one of their teachers, talking about ghosts and UFOs and Bigfoot.
Right.
They've completely, they've been really cool with it.
Well, too, you've written 20 books now. You're like, you kind of like a big shot there, I bet now. They're probably like, holy shit, here he comes, Mr. 20 books. Everybody get out of the teacher's lounge. Here he comes.
We had a group of students that were in Los Angeles a couple of years ago for a student media conference.
Yeah.
And I found out while they were out there that they all one night stayed in for an hour or so. Instead of hanging out in Los Angeles, they went to the hotel room to watch me on Ancient Aliens.
Jesus.
So I'm like, yeah, you kids, this is great, man.
There you go. Yeah. That's pretty cool. You're shaping their future. Has anyone come out of your under your umbrella, if you will, and gone into this crazy field? Has anyone kind of gone on to become gotten mixed up in any of this?
No, not really.
That's
One of my
the
students.
parents are probably happy to hear that.
They're probably delighted. Yeah, well, one of my students. In fact, I talked to him today. Who had one of my favorite shadow people encounters. He graduated maybe 12, 13, 14 years ago, and he has started writing about this stuff. But he writes fiction, and he's really good. So somebody has followed my footsteps a little bit.
There you go. Yeah, because you don't necessarily. Yeah, you don't want to be the teacher that inspires the student to become like a quote unquote full-time Bigfoot researcher.
Right. I'm not Robin Williams standing on a desk. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Then the kid's parents show up and they're like, "We put this kid to college. Fucking now he's going to become a full-time Bigfoot researcher." Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they wouldn't be too thrilled with you. Is there? Trying to think if I could hit you with some really abstract North American monsters question before we wrap it up. Is there any monster particularly like Bigfoot? Another one that you really like to encounter? A lot of them are scary. A lot of them I wouldn't want to even run into. Is there one you'd be like, oh, that'd be kind of fun to see?
God, to encounter?
Yeah,
I don't want to encounter any of these. There's some I would like.
Really?
To see.
Yeah, that's all right. See, let's go with that. We don't have to. Okay.
Right. I mean, if I'm safely on the beach at Lake Champlain and I see out in the water Champ, swimming around, I'd be totally cool with that.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to be trudging through, the desert and have some sort of a Mongolian death worm wrap itself around me.
What about like a sprightly little elf that like tells you riddles and shit?
Yeah. That's exactly. I need a sprightly little elf to come, or run into a sphinx to ask me riddles.
There you go. Yeah. I wouldn't do well under the pressure of that kind of situation. That's the one thing.
Ask me the airspeed velocity of a swallow, a laden swallow, because I wouldn't know if it was an African or a European swallow.
Yeah.
I was going to Monty Python on you right then.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
It's all right. I didn't know if I was supposed to follow suit and if there was a line I'm missing or what there on
That's
that.
all right.
Oh, man. When's the World Monsters book coming out?
September.
Have they ever talked about making any movies of your fiction books?
No, but my paranormal books, I've had a couple of possible TV shows.
Oh, yeah. I know about one of those.
Yeah. And that one, the one you know about, they even made a sizzle reel.
Yeah.
I mean, it was as close as I think I'll ever see.
Well, I'd like to see. I don't know if we talked about this, but if they do make a movie of, a movie of any of the Offutt-verse books, then I feel like I have to have some kind of cameo in, especially the character named after me or, gas station attendant, anything like that.
Got to have something. Well, in one of my books, you even pointed out somebody read one of my books. And said, hey, Tim Binnall is a street name in one of Offutt's books. Well, yeah.
When that paid off, finally, it was like you and I were both like fucking dancing around. You're like, oh,
yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
It finally happened. Yeah. So, Well, I know the cornfield book is critically acclaimed, and I know the sequel. It's got a following.
Well, the corn, the girl in the corn won a couple of pretty nice horror awards. I was pretty proud of those, and sequels gotten a lot of good comments.
Well, I got to also thank you because when I was kind of coming up, you gave me a big boost. So you had me write the intro to within, I want to say within 50 miles or within 100 miles.
Yeah, it was
in your backyard or something.
Man, I'm looking right now for one on my shelf and I don't see it. But yeah, it's the Paranormal in my backyard.
There you go.
The name of it. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And I always appreciated that. I wanted to thank you for that because it was like I was kind of coming up and I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I get to write the intro for a book. This is really cool.
Well, if you remember right, this I started listening to you and I wrote you an email, and that's how I got on your show the first time.
Yeah, we corresponded for a little while, and then I was like, oh wait, and you were like, yeah, and by the way, I just wrote this book or whatever. It was like the Hat Man or the Shadow People.
Yeah.
That's another one you don't really hear as much about anymore, but it's like, I don't know. I still think those are more prevalent, but they're like ghosts. I think people just kind of gotten used to them.
They throw them in with ghosts, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what I've gotten a lot lately is I was on a show that is hosted by George Knapp. It was a short show on Netflix.
Okay.
Had to do with UFOs, of course, because that's what he did. I can't remember the name of it right now, but there was a piece I wrote about in that book, in What Lurks Beyond, the Paranormal in Your Backyard, about a UFO sighting in Big Lake, Iowa, or what was it? Council Bluffs, Iowa, at Big Lake Park.
Okay.
And I have, ever since that show's come out, I have had so many people contact me asking me for information, how to get a hold of these people that I interviewed. And I'm like, guys, this book was published in 2009. All right. I don't have any of this crap anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's how long he's been around, folks. Yeah. What's that? 16 years ago.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy how time flies. Well, it's been great knowing you all these years, man. I'm glad that I got the podcast.
Not anytime soon. What do you mean, great knowing you?
I'm just being, I'm just, being nice.
Yeah. Thanks.
Jeez. I just got out of the woods. It was practically a near-death experience.
You haven't even picked off all the ticks yet. You don't even know if you got
Exactly.
Lyme disease or not.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. The jury's out on that. I don't know what I brought back from out there. I'm like, will I ever feel normal again? That's kind of my thought process at the moment. I'm like, maybe by Thanksgiving I'll feel like I won't have all these aches and pains. But I'm also old, so it's like, no, those never go away. Oh man. Well, so I think I interrupted you. So when does the new world? When does the world book come out? You said it's
September.
Next September.
No, last September. Yes, next September.
I know. I'm just
Right.
yeah. I'm still yeah.
Still in the woods, man. I got it.
Yeah, I've just gotten back to your Gregorian calendar. It was strange because it was I was there on Halloween and then on November 1st, and it was like everything was thrown off. It's like, oh, you're coming in, it's Halloween. You come out, it's Christmas. It was like, what the fuck? What's happened here? All the Halloween decorations are gone, and now all the Christmas decorations are up, and the commercials are all changed.
Strange.
This
year Halloween, I went out with my kid, and last year for Halloween, I was at a conference in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's good.
Bourbon Street on New Orleans or on Halloween is a trip, man.
I bet.
Yeah, I mentioned Jesus earlier. I met him twice that night.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah. Well, that's a good sign, I guess, right?
Well, I didn't get I'm okay. I mean, I haven't been taken up or anything, but I haven't been
raptured.
Raptured.
When you took your kid out this year? Were you dressed up?
No, I wasn't dressed up. I don't like Halloween anymore.
I don't like it either, dude. I hate it.
It's how I used to view New Year's Eve, amateur night.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
Halloween is.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah. It's just gotten to be. It's like the Super Bowl or something. It's just too big. It's just too big. Like especially, and this is like blasphemy for us because we're in this business of weird. But it's like, and I mean, the only good thing out of Halloween is that a lot of my friends and colleagues and whatnot get a lot of attention because it's like the media goes fucking crazy for this shit now.
Yeah.
But as a guy who has to collect weird stories, it's a huge pain in the ass for me. And then it's just like by like July 5th now, it's like, oh, spooky season's coming. Look,
Yeah.
it's fucking July 5th. Let's not get crazy here.
Well, and when it comes to October, I have a lot of people, are like, hey, Offutt, you must be really excited for Halloween, and spooky stuff. I'm like, I do this shit all year.
Year round, baby.
I want this to be over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, one thing is over, and that's this conversation. So I want to thank you for coming back on the show. I love you, man. I'm not going anywhere, neither are you, but I'll just say it. I don't care. And the book is, of course, I'm holding it up even though we're on the radio. It's Chasing New
too.
They're like brothers. Chasing North American Monsters. It's a tour de force, folks. I know Jason really well, and as I said, I kind of went in easy on him tonight instead of sending him a bunch of homework this morning with like 15 fucking cryptids and making him dance for us. I was like, let's just have a good old fashioned jam session here and talk about the monsters, talk about whatever the hell else is on our minds tonight. Because it's been a long time since we've chatted, even though you've been back on the revival at least once so far. So it's been great, man. I was looking forward to this all day, and it lived up to expectations. I had a blast. I always enjoy chatting with you. It's a lot of laughs, and you'll be back sooner than later. I'm certain of that.
All right, well, that's awesome, and I mean, it always feels like we're sitting around having a beer conversation. And as for me, I have been. So
there you go, folks. Good night, everybody.
All right, good night.